Hola. So I'd just like to take you through a walkthrough of GCSE speaking exam AQA board role play number 9 from 2018. And as you can see, if I just scroll down, the situation is, it says, estás hablando con tu amigo español sobre tu trabajo a tiempo parcial. So you're speaking with a Spanish friend about your part-time work, your part-time job. So feel free to pause the video for a moment to see if you can work out what sort of notes you would write for this role play. Okay, let's talk through the options. So its first bullet point says tu trabajo donde. So that's your job, your work, where. So in terms of a response or notes that I'd make for that, it will be any particular place where you might work that you can think of. For example, it could actually, if you couldn't think of anything, it could be a place in terms of in Bolton and Manchester, for example. But otherwise, it would be an example of, for example, en una tienda, in a shop, or en una fábrica, in a factory, en un instituto, in a school. That sort of response. But as long as it's any place should get you the answer for that. Then the second bullet point, tu trabajo una opinión. So as soon as you see reference to an opinion, you can keep it simple with a response such as me gusta mi trabajo. I like my job. Yeah, remember, whenever you see tu in the bullet point, you can change that to me. So you're changing your job to my job. Okay, then we've got the exclamation mark, so we know that we don't know exactly what we're going to be asked for that, and we have to respond to what we hear. And the fourth bullet point says tu trabajo ideal. So the cognate tells us it's going to be ideal. So your ideal job. And you might want to have something such as mi trabajo ideal sería profesor. Although I think simply responding accurately with the name of a job, my ideal job would be a teacher, or sería actor, or any particular job that you can come up with. And the fifth bullet point is got a question mark about compañeros de trabajo, so your work colleagues. So you need to ask a question about the work colleagues. So I suppose you're asking about my work colleagues in that case as the teacher or examiner. So you could say something like, or you could ask, ¿Qué tal los compañeros de trabajo? So how are your work colleagues? Or it could be, ¿Te gustan los compañeros de trabajo? Do you like your work colleagues? So any of those sorts of questions, like ¿Te gusta? ¿Qué tal? Or ¿Cómo son? What are they like? But I tend to try and keep it simple with the role play. That's generally the key to success. And let's just have a look at the teacher or examiner's script, and then as we go through this, we can see if you can try and respond appropriately. So it says, estás hablando con tu amigo español, yo soy tu amigo. Háblame de tu trabajo. And hopefully there you'll be able to say where you work. So notice, because it says háblame de tu trabajo, tell me about your work. Ideally, you wouldn't just say a place, you actually have a verb. So you say, for example, trabajo en un instituto. I work in a school, for example. Then I say, ¿qué piensas de tu trabajo? And hopefully you can say what you think of your job. Key thing is there, you're giving an opinion. Simplest opinion is me gusta. Then for the unprepared one, the one that you don't know necessarily in advance, the question is, ¿qué compras con el dinero? Hopefully there You can say what you buy with money. For example, compro caramelos, I buy sweets, or compro ropa, I buy clothes. Anything that you can think of that you could say that would be something that you might buy. Compro libros, I buy books. Then the examiner will go on to say, ¿Cuál es tu trabajo ideal? Hopefully you can say what your ideal job is. For example, es actor. Oh, mi trabajo ideal es profesora, for example. I respond, muy interesante. And then you ask a colleague, you ask a question about work colleagues, for example. ¿Qué tal los compañeros de trabajo? Or te gustan los compañeros de trabajo? Okay, hope that helps to give you some practice and an explanation of how that role play might pan out.